Hey everybody, this is Alex Ducellier Muller, and this is a half pass tutorial. Lots of times people really struggle with half pass, and I wanted to break it down with some visuals. I'm writing Fern in this video. She's a she's 7-year-old Tennessee Walker Saddlebred Cross, and she's schooling third level, showing second, so she's fairly green in the half pass. And I chose her because I think it's easier to break down if you can kind of see me teach her. That said, she's schooled it quite a bit, but it's not confirmed. So before you start the half pass, you want to confirm the shoulder in angle and the haunches in angle. So today, as I took this video, this was the first shoulder in that I did. So you saw I lost the angle just a little bit at the beginning and then got it back to a regular 3 tracks. So before you start the half pass, you really want to make sure that the haunches in and shoulder in are confirmed. I actually have a little bit too much angle. That's better. Oop, too much. So in both of those movements, the bend is to the inside. I think I go back here and do it again. And so the reason that you really want the shoulder in and the haunches in confirmed is that when you ride the half pass, you start with the shoulder in, and that sets the angle of the shoulder on the line of the half pass. And then you do haunches in on that line. So I'll explain that a little further in a moment. But you really want to make sure that you can do both of those movements really well, that you can keep the angle and correct bend. So as I start the shoulder in here, I'm going to put weight on my inside seat bone, keep the inside hind on the line, and then hopefully keep there. We lost it just a little bit, so that's a little bit too much angle there. I think she was leaning on my inside leg, so you really want to keep the 3 tracks on the shoulder in and 3 tracks on the haunches in. So hopefully I do that here. Maybe 4 tracks here. But I do like the bend, so the forehead and the shoulders should be straight down the long side when you go do that haunches in. And I've said that already twice, I think, but I cannot emphasize that enough. You really, really, really need to make sure you can do haunches in with correct bend. That means shoulders and forehead pointed straight down the long side if you're doing the haunches in on the long side before you start the half pass. So here I'm going to do shoulder in again, and then a 10-meter circle, leaning a little bit on my inside seat bone. There you go. And then the haunches in. So the angle should be the same as the last step on a 10-meter circle. The bend should be the same. So her haunches are quite mobile here. There, so the bend I like quite a bit. Once you have your shoulder in and your haunches in confirmed and warmed up for the day, when you go into the half pass, you do want to start it in the shoulder in. So always, always start it in the shoulder in, whether that's one step or multiple. So that took me a moment to establish. And then when you go to the half pass, you want to keep the nose and the shoulder on the diagonal line. So always choose your end point. And then allow the horse to bend around your inside seat bone and your inside leg the same as you would in the haunches in. So I'm going to do this several times, I believe, the same direction. So the biggest issue with the half pass is that people either push the haunch too much and get the haunches leading rather than the shoulder in position like you should have, or that they lose the bend around the inside calf. So you're going to establish the shoulder in as you start, and then that's better, and then choose your end point, and as you choose your end point, you kind of push the shoulder out in front of you and diagonally. So I just clucked it myself. There we go, and you can hear me clucking in the video. That's it. So it's not smooth yet, but you can see she's starting to get more flexible around the inside calf. So the shoulders should be advance of the haunch. So when you start, when I say you always, always start the half pass in shoulder in, it's because when you establish the shoulder in, you establish the angle for your half pass. So the shoulder should be advance of the haunch, and the bend to the inside as if you're doing a haunches in. So I'm going to do it the other way here. So I'm going to go shoulder in, keep the angle of the shoulder in, so the shoulder has to lead. And then as I go sideways into the half pass, yeah, there I bumped her shoulder over because she started to go haunches leading. And then I'm going to keep pushing her across her body with the outside hind and keep establishing the inside bend. So something that I see really frequently when people are struggling with the half pass is that they let the trot get really stilted in the half pass, and then there's no crossover and no expression. So it requires a fair amount of confidence, I would say, but when you're riding that half pass, you really need to go forward, because the half pass is one of those iconic movements where the horse is really supple and you see the big crossover in front and the big crossover behind. So in order to do that, you really have to push them forward. So like here, I want to cluck it myself, but I can hear myself in the video clucking. There we go. And so I'm pushing her across, but also like really pushing her forward out in front of me. There. And so even though this is really hard for her, we got a few really quite nice steps there. So I'll just swap my whip. So I'm assuming I'm going to half pass in. Yep. So establishing the shoulder in, and there the haunches are leading, and then I kick the shoulder over to get the shoulder leading again. So something that's really hard for Fern is that she wants to cross the haunch first. So when I go to start that, I'm assuming I'm going to half pass the other way. When she goes to start the half pass, she really wants to lead with the haunches. So I have to keep thinking about taking both hands a bit to the direction of travel. So in this case, to the right, and kind of pushing her haunch across. So once that's confirmed, you can start to kind of play with the zigzag. I think I do a zigzag here. Maybe it's a bit later. Yeah, so I'm going to half pass this direction. And then as I approach the center line, I change the bend and change it to a leg yield. Establish the shoulder the new direction, and then start the half pass again. So you really want to break that up. So shout out to Leslie Webb. I still remember the lesson where she taught me this. But when you do that half pass, you basically half pass until you're almost to your end point. Change the bend to change it into leg yield. So here you'll see me change the bend and then establish the new shoulder in right there, and then your half pass. So Fern struggles a little bit with that. This was actually the first time we schooled that. There we go, good. So hopefully that helps. The major takeaways there are that you need to start it in shoulder in, even in the show ring, one step of shoulder in before you start your half pass. And then as you go into your half pass, really push forward to your end point and push the haunches in on that line. So if it feels stilted, it probably is, and you probably need to rock yourself back just a hair and let your horse's shoulders come up and out in front of you. So hopefully that helped. If not, I will try again. All right, thanks y'all.